My name is Linda Leclerc and I'm the founder of the Haha Sisterhood and of the School of Laughter Yoga. Welcome in the Joy Element, the feel-good podcast that inspires. Today's episode is brought to you by my super happy app, Let's Laugh Laughter Exercises. You can find it on App Store and Google Play. So when and where you need a little help to cheer yourself up and add laughter to your day, it's available on your phone or tablet. You can even make your own selection of your favorite exercises to bring laughter in your body. And we know that action creates emotion. So then you will feel better. Well, this episode was supposed to be live a long time ago. No apologies. And here it is today, the episode with my laughter yoga colleague, dear friend, and haha sister, Lotte Mikkelsen. Lotte was born in Denmark, but lives in UK where she teaches laughter yoga. As a master trainer, she certainly is walking the talk, because whatever life is throwing at her, she always finds a way to use laughter as a coping mechanism. A wise and fun human being I always am happy to spend time with. Every time we're together, I don't know why, but we end up laughing so hard. Yeah, I don't know why. It's almost as if we bring our inner child back and allow ourselves to play, and laugh. She is truly one of a kind. Generous, authentic, loving, kind. Yep, that's our laughter queen. Enjoy this episode with her. Meet Lotte Mikkelsen. I'm very happy that we have this chance to talk together for my podcast. Thank you for accepting to be my guest, Lotte.
Thank you, Linda.
And I'm sorry for the noise that you hear. It's because we're sitting on a leather couch. And we've been laughing a whole lot for the last, I would say, 3 days, that's for sure. And the last day and a half, that was really, really a laughing experience. So Lotte, my dear friend, I know that your life has been with ups and downs, like everybody else, yeah?
I suppose you're right.
And the two questions that I ask to people, like the first one, here it is, for the podcast. What do you do when you're experiencing stress? I have to say that I have never seen her very, very, crazy, so many other people. But what do you do when you're stressed out and things are crazy around you or in you? What do you do to slow down, to relax, to calm yourself and just go to a better place so you're not that stressed?
That's a really good question. First of all, thanks a lot for having me on the podcast. It's been absolutely fantastic couple of days here we've spent together.
I know.
But you know what? It's interesting with what do we do when we're stressed? What do I do when I'm stressed? And laughter has really taught me a lot about stress and about how to not let it peak. But again, we are just human beings, aren't we? So sometimes it just gets a little bit over the top and over our heads and so on. So one of the things, of course, the big things is using laughter as a way of coping with stress. But it's not always that laughter works. And I do combine it with relaxation, with breathing exercise that I have actually learned through laughter yoga. But meditation is probably one of the big things that suddenly clicked for me as well. Because you can do it whether you walk or you laugh or you sit still and so on. And stillness was a really, really big thing where I found it so difficult.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting because, first of all, I saw you the day before the laughter, the playing conference started, and you were dealing with lots of issues and speakers coming from foreign countries and very important people. I'm not going to mention anybody, but Patch Adams was there and Robert Holden. So they're not just the next Joe Blow, and you were dealing with all that and fixing things. And I can't say that I was seeing you stressed like you would have seen me.
That's really nice to hear, because I did feel a little bit stressed in terms of I felt like all of these things, I could have sorted it beforehand and have avoided having to run around, and maybe have been a bit more in the conference and taking part in the sessions and so on. But Jodie Wormsley said to me, which I really got, that when you're organising a conference, never expect to be there full time in the sessions, in the talks, and never expect to really take part in what goes on, because you are the one who needs to make sure everything clicks. And the thing is, on the day I felt, well, there really isn't anything else I can do than just try and solve if anything arises and any problems happen. And I don't think 10 years ago or 15 years ago I would have handled it that way. I remember some situations.
So what's different now?
I think what's different for me is that I've been laughing every day for the past 10 years, and that really has changed something in me. I've worked with laughter a lot longer than that, but you know, I just did ran the laughter club. I did the odd workshop and so on, and lived my life and had a lot of stress. And when I think back, when my daughter said to me, "Why are you always arguing?" me and my partner, then that really made me realize something needs to change. And then of course the diagnosis with MS and all that stuff, and I thought, whoa, seriously, stress is just having such an impact on my family life, my health and so on. So I had to change, and I started laughing every day. And it doesn't happen overnight. It really doesn't happen overnight. And just because you laugh every day doesn't mean that you don't face things where you feel like crying, and you have to cry, and you don't have to cry, but I do feel to have a balance, have balance in life, you need to let it out. And it's not always laughter that comes out. Sometimes it's gibberish even.
Like how many minutes a day would you say that you're laughing? When you say that you're laughing, because I know that for some people it's just like, I'm laughing every day, but they're just like here and there. That's laughing, but that's not. I know
it's not really.
I know, so that's why I'm asking. So what kind of laughter are you talking about? Like 2 minutes?
Well, when I get up and normally I haven't done it this week, in fact, because
I was there sleeping.
I know.
Except for one morning. One morning you woke me up with laughter, and I thought, whoa, where am I?
Yeah. Do you know, I normally go and when I wake up and I think, oh gosh, and I do. In fact, that is the wrong statement, because I don't wake up in the morning and think, oh gosh. I wake up in the morning thinking, yes, and then I go and look in the mirror in the bathroom, and then you
say, oh gosh.
And then I go, I laugh at myself, yeah. And then I do all the things with showering and makeup and so on, and then I'm ready for the thumbs up. So it's just a couple of minutes, but then it's time for 7:00 for the telephone laughter, where it's 10 minutes on the phone. And often after the telephone laughter, where it's a conference call, people dial in and it's a live call, where people are just laughing when they hear someone laugh. And after those 10 minutes, often I can't stop, a little bit like when you and I were laughing. And
because that's something that I've noticed also. When I start to laugh, if I once I pass that point where I'm laughing as an exercise, once I realize, oh, now I'm laughing for real, and I let go of things, it's very difficult not to find things funny after that. It's very difficult not to feel like smiling nonstop and giggling and chuckling for like no specific reason. Just I just want to keep going.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's not just the loud laughter and so on. And I think one of the really important things is to realize that you don't have to go around and go with open mouth, but it's finding that level where it really tickles your giggle. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens when you, for example, when I get off the call and I'm still in that, I'm hearing the different laughter tones and sounds from people who've been on the call at 7:00 in the morning. And I just have that just underneath my breath and just going around going, And it just keeps going and keeps going. And one of the things about the laughter is that we often say that, oh, you need to do deep, hearty laughter. And often that's connected with loud laughter, yeah. But the things you can do, laughter that's not just a social laughter stuck up in your chest, but the laughter that's the
deep one. Yeah.
But really,
having fun.
Yeah. And I think that's what you get to when you practice it every day for a long time. And having that really helps you cope in many ways. But you need to cry and you need to shout in gibberish as well once in a while.
Because this is part of your human experience. And I know what you mean, because my laughter is not very loud, but it's like a wave. So it's, once it starts, it's just like, this feels good.
Laughter tsunami.
It's funny because you kind of answered the second question there, because the second one was like when you have moments when tears are more appropriate, or when you're having a series of events or bad news, or well, Patch Adams would say, like, I never have a lousy day, I always have good days. I decided that I was always going to have good days or great days, but sometimes we're experiencing moments where sadness is more there, or we just feel a bit depressed. So what do you do then to cheer yourself up?
Well, sometimes it's not always about cheering ourselves up, but going with whatever flows through you. And I think one of the key things is I remember on a couple of occasions, and this is again back to the laughter in the morning, where the movement of the diaphragm is the same as, for laughter and tears, as you know, or sobbing, as you know. And once in a while I found myself, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be laughing, and then I'm sitting there. And I'm sure people will not be able to distinguish the sound when you're on the telephone, because it's so close. And then it goes into that and goes in waves and so on. And I think afterwards, what's that all about? But sometimes we don't even need to know what the stress or what the tears are all about. We just need that release and allowing it to happen. And it's the same you can do when you're with good friends and so on. You can cry together, you can laugh together, you can chat, you can do whatever you want to do. And that's a stress relief as well. I think friends are one of my key stress reliefs, because you get to talk about it and they get to say, oh yeah, I agree with you, or they get to say, I'll get off it. And I think that's so important.
Both ways, like even if it's stressed, or if you have what I call them my off days. Like sometimes it's just like things are not, I'm not depressed, I'm just like I'm not on my ex, or I'm like meh.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know that I play my happy playlist is useful then. I make myself hot chocolate.
Love that.
But I don't know what I'll do this winter, because hot chocolate saved my life last year, and this year I'm cutting sugar. So. I'll have to find something else.
Kisses and cuddles. But sometimes and I've heard so many times in the past, but it's easy for you because you always laugh and you always smile. And people don't know half the truth of what we go through. And everybody has their stories, everybody has their things they're going through. And we're so different. And what I find is challenging for me would not be challenging for someone else, or someone else would find I would never be able to live through that. So we're all so different in dealing with things. But I think that moment when we feel like, today is going to be a little bit different than yesterday, where I felt, yoo-hoo, today is maybe going to be a little bit lower, then honour it in ourselves and take the time out for as long as we need for that day, not indulge in it, because if we go into it and overindulge in it, then it becomes a little bit self-absorbed, doesn't it? But it's not what it's about. It's about just respecting and valuing and honouring ourselves, and self-care is really key to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So take that day and just watch soppy movies or watch romantic movies, watch commercials with animals. So there are lots of different, but I do think we need to acknowledge that even if we are laughter yoga master trainers or laughter professionals doing this for life, for our business, full-time work and so on, that it's not always just about the laughter. And it's important also in our work that we get across to our clients that and our students and whoever we work with, that it's not just the laughter. Because if it's just the laughter, it becomes really superficial. And if it's just the laughter, if people only laugh, they have serious problems.
Well, that's something that I tell people, like, it's not, first of all, I use laughter. This is my favorite tool to cope with many things. It's helping me a lot. But I'm like an athlete. So the Olympic athletes, like, they're training and they've spent hundreds and thousands of hours to prepare for that competition, and they're good because they practiced a lot. So it's the same with us, like, and that's what I teach. I say, well, you just practice daily. So because you've been practicing daily, then you'll be able to laugh as easily as I laugh. Same thing. But don't ignore the other emotions, because emotions are red flags. If you feel something, just feel it.
They're there to show you the way you feel. It's there to show you where you need to pay attention and so on. But it's really interesting. Without the other emotions, there is no compassion either. And you know, that is one of the key things when we work with people, that we have the ability to feel that compassion, because that takes us to where we know which laughter to do and use and share with people. And how to do it and so on. And it comes with, you know, you can't just go out and do this after you've done 2-day training or 1-day training. You can't just go out and think you know it all. It really comes with living laughter. And I totally agree with you that laughter is such an amazing tool, but it's not the only tool.
No.
But it's my favorite and my first choice of coping, definitely. Yeah.
Well, thank you so very much, my dear friend.
That's a very British thing to say. Darling.
I've been practicing my English accent lately, so thank you very much, darling.
You're almost welcome.
Pussum. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to know more about our programs, services, retreats, trainings, and all sorts of tools to bring more laughter and joy in your life, visit us at www.yogadurir.com, and for the women's laughing at hahasisterhood.com. Until next time, keep smiling and laughing.